For example, the German Bundesbank offered a discount rate up to 1999 until interest rate policy was transferred to the European Central Bank. An example of a non-depository institution might be a mortgage bank. One. S. Higher prices are considered negative for an economy, but since central banks often respond to price inflation by raising interest rates, currencies sometimes respond positively to reports of higher inflation. These factors are closely watched in FX trading market. S. S. Again, this should be a part of your trading strategies. The discount rate is an interest rate a central bank charges depository institutions that borrow reserves from it. The actual is not nearly as vital to your short-term trading decisions as it is to know that this month the market was looking for CPI to fall. These indicators that we are about to discuss have a strong effect to generate volume and to move prices in the market. It is used as a gauge of consumer activity and confidence, as higher sales figures would indicate increased economic activity. The committee sets monetary policy by specifying the short-term objective for those operations, which is currently a target level for the federal funds rate, the rate that commercial banks charge on overnight loans among themselves. Payroll, unemployment. Strong job creation is a good indication of economic growth, as companies must increase their workforce in order to meet demand. The unemployment rate is also a good measure of the strength of the labor market. Economic strength is determined by certain key factors. The FOMC also directs operations undertaken by the Federal Reserve System in foreign exchange markets, although any intervention in foreign exchange markets is coordinated with the U. Three. There are 8 meetings scheduled per year. The data itself is not as important as whether or not it falls within market expectations. Analyzing the longer-term ramifications of an unexpected monthly rise in prices can wait until after you've taken advantage of the short-term trading opportunities. A consumer price index, CPI, is a measure of the average price of consumer goods and services purchased by households. CPI, Consumer Price Index. The CPI is a key gauge of inflation, as it measures the price of a fixed group of consumer goods. Trade balance. The balance of trade measures the difference between the value of goods and services that a nation exports and the value of goods and services that it imports. Besides knowing when all the data is released, it is vitally important to know what economists are forecasting for each indicator. While licensed to lend, they cannot accept deposits. Retail sales. Retail sales is a measure of the total goods sold by a sampling of retail stores. Federal depository institutions are regulated by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC. The dates are known in advance, so mark them on your economic calendar and incorporate them into your Forex trading strategies. Two. The discount rate, FOMC interest rate decisions. The Federal Open Market sets the discount rate, which is the rate at which the Federal Reserve Bank charges member banks for overnight loans. When these economic indicators change, and the value of a currency will fluctuate accordingly. Fundamental economic factors have become increasingly important market movers. Let's take a further look at these two factors. Market expectations for all economic factors are public knowledge. A large portion of a currency's value is based on consumer confidence based upon the economic strength of the country. A depository institution is a financial institution in the United States, such as a savings bank, that is legally allowed to accept monetary deposits from consumers. For example, knowing the economic consequences of an unexpected monthly rise in the consumer price index. The Federal Open Market Committee, FOMC, a component of the Federal Reserve System, is charged under U. Currencies do not become weaker or stronger randomly. The rate is set during the FOMC meetings by the regional banks and the Federal Reserve Board. The percent change in the CPI is a measure of inflation. Dot. The CPI is, along with the population census and the national income and product accounts, one of the most closely watched national economic statistics. Adjust for the effects of inflation, wages, salaries, pensions, or regulated or contracted prices. Law with overseeing open market operations in the United States, and is the principal tool of U.S. national monetary policy. Open market operations are the buying and selling of government securities. When focusing on the impact that economic numbers have on price in the FX market, there are 5 top indicators to watch. Below is a further explanation of CPI. This information is released monthly. Treasury, which has responsibility for formulating U. Policies regarding the exchange value of the dollar. Four. You should be tracking these economic data indicators on an economic or Forex calendar. Generally, this information is released around the middle of the second month following the reporting period. One of the ways analysts gauge the strength of an economy is by the number of jobs created, and the percentage of workers unable to find jobs. A trade surplus results if the value of exported goods exceeds that of imported goods, whereas a trade deficit exists if imported goods exceed exported goods. Five. A country's currency represents the economic health of that country and the price is reflective in its currency. It is one of several price indices calculated by national statistical agencies. The CPI can be used to index I. Economic news impacts the short-term trading and the long-term. E.